Going on a Mediterranean cruise? Not sure what to pack? Well, you're in the right place. That's what we're going to go through today. I'm going to give you lots of hints and tips about what to take so that you can feel stylish and comfortable and make the most of your lovely Mediterranean cruise. Hello, I'm Claire Francis, and on this channel we talk about all things shopping, style and fashion and travel for the midlife women. Packing for a cruise can be quite stressful, a little bit tricky. There's lots of different types of occasions you need to take into account. You might be lounging by the pool one minute, you could be then inside doing activities, you could be outside on deck having a cocktail in the evening, you could be dressed up glamorously for the celebration night, and then in the day you could be out exploring European cities, European capitals, and all those different events need slightly different clothes, don't they? So what to take can be very tricky. So we're going to go through it category at a time. We're going to look at the different occasions and try and make sure you feel on trend, stylish and comfortable for all those occasions so you can get the most out of your Mediterranean cruise. So before we dive in, don't forget to subscribe to my channel and turn on the notifications so you don't miss out on any other videos. Thank you very much. Okay, let's go to the different categories then. So the first thing we're going to look at is swimwear and pool wear. Okay, so I'm going to use my rail to help me. I've got some examples from my own wardrobe, so I'm going to show you the sort of things that I've been planning on taking. I am actually going on a cruise in a couple of weeks to the Mediterranean, so that's what inspired this video. So let's think about the pool first of all. Obviously you're going to need some swimming costumes or bikinis. A lot of ladies of our age, we're not that confident in a bikini, but if you still are, that's great. Otherwise, I tend to wear these. This is an M&S shaping control swimwear that I like to wear in navy. So I've got one of those. I've also got others that are a little bit more patterned. So I have this black and white one. This is one I actually bought last year, but I haven't worn yet. This was DKNY at TK Maxx. So I've got a little bit of a black and white pattern going on there. And then I'm going to need some cover-ups as well. So obviously maybe going into the buffet restaurant, which is often near the pool, or sitting and, you know, wanting to cover up a little bit if you're getting a little bit sunburnt. We do need to wear something over that, and just walking around the ship generally, people don't walk around the ship in their swimwear. They normally have something over the top. So something like a white linen-y type shirt. This is a long shirt, so it can sort of double up as a dress actually if I put a belt around it, so it's sort of multifunctional. This again is DKNY from TK Maxx last year. I have worn it. I've actually noticed it could do with a bit of washing before I go away as well, but really versatile cover up. So as I said, I've worn that around the pool, but I've also worn it as an outfit just daytime with a belt around it because it's long enough. That's something that's a good idea. Do also have a little dress, again I haven't worn, but I bought it last year from M&S. That type of thing is ideal for just putting over your swimwear as you go into the ship, or, you know, into the buffet or whatever. That's something I'd highly recommend. And probably if you're going on a 1 week cruise, I would say you need at least 2 swimwear, 2 cover-ups. If you're going for longer, for 2 weeks, you may want 3 or even more. Obviously you can wash them in between, but I think, you know, you need a bit of a variety if you're going for 2 weeks. So later on in the video, we will look at accessories and we'll talk about what we need there. So I'm not going to talk about that yet. So let's go on to the second category, which is daytime casual. So one thing you're going to find ubiquitous this summer is the cord sets, the linen and cotton cord sets. So I have mentioned, my regular viewers will have seen that I've had trouble getting one that I actually like. So I've actually made one up myself from a pair of black and white linen trousers that I had from Next from last year. And I've bought myself a little black linen shirt that I think will go quite nicely with that. So I'm going to make my own cord set there. And underneath, I'll probably leave the shirt open. And underneath, I've got one of those little crop top, well, not too cropped actually, it's sort of waist length tops with a built-in bra. I probably will take a couple of those, which can be worn in lots of different ways. A white or a black would be a very good option there, so that it goes with lots of things. If I want to slightly elevate those trousers, I might put on this Nobody's Child waistcoat. So that's a little bit more of a modern trend. Waistcoats are very, very on trend. You might well see a lot of linen waistcoats. So you could wear the waistcoat and the trousers, for example. So that I might do for a slightly elevated look, maybe with a pair of low heels or something like that. Talking of linen shirts and things, I probably will take several because I have a bit of an outfit formula in the day. I tend to wear either shorts and a linen shirt, or I wear a dress and a linen shirt. So I find it covers all a variety of options. You know, it covers you up a little bit if you just, you know, you've been out sunbathing and you want to cover up and not get a little bit of sun because you don't want to get sunburnt. Useful for walking around the boat as well, as I said, with a pair of linen trousers or some shorts. And also useful on trips. We'll talk about that in a minute, but very useful for walking around cities and things. So if you are thinking of going on a trip to say somewhere that's a city, then it's useful to have some sort of cover up to cover your shoulders and your head, because obviously when you go in some European churches, you do need to be covered. And obviously if you're in the sun all day as well, you might want your shoulders covered, but you can take it off then when you don't want it, if you're a little bit hot and you've got maybe your vest top and your shorts or whatever. So short wise, if you don't like a linen short, I would suggest maybe a pair of denim shorts. That's going to take you through quite a few occasions, and for sightseeing that's fine. You don't need to worry about covering up your legs as much. It's more covering up your shoulders and your head, just for respect reasons in some of the churches. So another item that I've worn quite a lot is a white skirt. Again, another very popular item this summer. It goes with everything, and nice and cool and comfortable, and nice to cover up your legs sometimes. You know, if your legs aren't perfect and you don't really want to go around showing your legs, or you know they've got a little bit red and sunburnt, something like this is ideal to cover it up. So you don't need to worry then about what state your legs are in, and you've got a lovely, cool, comfortable outfit. This with something like the top and my linen shirt would look ideal. That's a nice day outfit that I definitely will be wearing, I think. Something else I like, now you may be the sort of person that likes to live in your shorts and your linen shirts and things, but another option for daytime, another outfit formula really, is the summer dress with a linen shirt or cover up over the top. So I've got quite a selection to choose from. I've got ones like this. This is linen, actually linen mix. I've also got a couple of strappy dresses that I probably will take. This is a black one from Nobody's Child. These dresses are all a longer length. I tend to not wear mini dresses very often nowadays unless it's a pool cover up. This one was from Accessorize. You may have seen this last year. It was in the first video that I ever made for YouTube. I had this dress from Accessorize as one of my summer sale buys. So those two I probably will be taking with me. I also have this dress, which again is a nice casual day dress, but also could double up in the evening. So a lot of these summer dresses, if you just change the accessories, which we'll talk about a little bit later, then you can take them from day to night. So that's why I like having a few of these dresses. Colour trend wise, lemon yellow or butter yellow is very on trend this summer, and you may well see a lot of this colour, you know, the big tomato or flame red colour. That's going to be very popular, I think. Those viewers that have watched my channel when I've done my M&S videos, the whole shop is full of this red colour, whereas other stores have gone slightly more down the yellow route. But that's two colours you might be seeing quite a lot of. It might be useful for you if you found it interesting to watch my video. This is about colour trends in the summer, what sort of colours are going to be around. So if you're wanting to purchase any new things, that might give you a little bit of a heads up. So I'm just going to have a little switch over on my rail, and I'm going to show you some of the things I'll be taking for more evening wear, particularly the celebration nights, and I'll be showing you a little bit more about other extra things you need to take, and we'll talk about accessories. So back in a minute. So we've changed up the rail and we're thinking about evening occasions now. Now it depends what cruise line you're with. I've been mostly on Cunard cruises and P&O cruises, And I have to say P&O is a little bit less formal than Cunard. On P&O cruises, the days that aren't the celebration nights, you can actually wear just fairly casual, comfortable clothes, as long as they're, you know, smart separates or just a light cotton dress or something like that. So some of the dresses I've shown you will be suitable for wearing on some of those evening occasions. However, most cruise lines actually have celebration nights where you're required to dress up a little bit more formally, and you'll see a lot of the men dressed up in their tuxedos and things with the bow ties and all that sort of thing, and ladies will be expected to be wearing a really nice dress. So I have a black dress that I tend to wear on those occasions, usually for one of the celebration nights. Sometimes there's something like a black and white ball or something. This is a maxi dress, and it just has this gold detailing on the middle. So very versatile, can be sort of made to look different with different accessories. I find that a really useful dress to have. So something like that, it doesn't have to be black, but that's a very useful sort of neutral colour that will go with a lot of other things. I also have a nice red dress that I sometimes wear on some of those more formal nights, which is sort of fit and flare style dress from Hobbs that I've had for a few years. Couldn't get into it for a couple of years, but as I've lost a little bit of weight, I have managed to get back into it. That's a nice outfit as well. Probably I might wear that for the second celebration night that's not quite so formal or whatever. So you'll have to look at what your cruise line says, but the guidance usually is that casual often means just smart separates or just a normal dress, whereas formal nights is a bit more glamorous and you should wear like a cocktail dress or perhaps a maxi dress, or, you know, something that's a bit more. Actually, sometimes in the summer you find people are dressed more like for Christmas, and I have been on some boats, particularly the adults only boats, where there's a lot more older cruisers and they're all in their very sparkly black and red and Christmassy type outfits. So different boats will have slightly different vibes, but a black dress like that would take you through a lot of different types of cruise lines and lots of different celebration nights. All the red dresses are said. I tend to use the red dress if I'm going for some sort of cabaret type evening. Maybe you've got a guest person and you're having a meal in front of them, that type of thing. That's the sort of thing I might use that dress for. I've also got a variety of other dresses. I'll probably take one or two of these, more multicoloured ones. So this one was from just a local boutique shop. I wear this quite a lot on cruises. It comes with a nice belt slash headband there, you can see. So I've worn that in different ways. And I also wear this one quite a lot, which is a Phase 8 one. It's a maxi dress, but it's a nice sort of tropical print actually. I have worn this on Caribbean cruises, but I'm sure I might wear that. And I have a little pink cover up that sort of matches it as well. So this is a sleeveless dress, and I put that over the top just so I've got something over my shoulders if I'm going outside or whatever. So a selection of nice dresses. Again, it depends how formal you want to be. As I said, a lot of the cruise lines are not quite as formal as they used to be, and you can get away with just a simple summer dress or some simple separates and things that are reasonably smart. You don't have to always dress up. However, with gentlemen, they often do have to wear jackets. Again, it depends on the cruise line, so have a look and see. Long trousers are often sometimes expected in the main restaurants rather than shorts. So see what your cruise line is saying. Certainly on P&O, they like you to wear a pair of trousers rather than shorts, but it doesn't have to be anything particularly smart until it's the celebration nights. So have a look at the information for your particular cruise line, your particular boat, and just take a couple of those slightly posher dresses. Again, if you're going for a week, there'll probably only be one celebration night. If you're going for a fortnight, there'll probably be at least two, possibly more if you're on Cunard. So that's the sort of level we're talking about of formality. The rest of the time is a little bit more informal, and in fact women do get away with wearing quite a lot of different things. Even, you know, some smart trousers and things like that are fine on the casual nights. I've shown you quite a lot of items here, And I won't necessarily be taking all those things on the cruise with me. It very much depends on how long you're going for. So if you're going for 2 weeks, you might want that little bit more. And it depends if you're going on a fly cruise or you're going direct from a port like Southampton. So if you're going direct from a port, there's less restrictions on your luggage. And in fact, you can take virtually as much as you like. I think each case has to weigh not more than a certain amount, but you can take extra with you and there's no charge for that. So in a way that's good because you can take lots of things, but then in a way you end up with lots of things that maybe you don't wear. So a bit of a compromise between planning more of a capsule wardrobe and actually knowing that you can take more just to be safe is quite useful. However, if you're flying, obviously you might have the restrictions, 20 to 20 odd kilograms or whatever. So again, that's something to look at. But if you're going from Southampton, nice and easy, you can take whatever you like. Also, all cruise boats do have laundries. So certainly on the P&O boats, there's a laundry on every floor of the boat. And if you pick your times, it won't necessarily be busy. If you choose a day in the middle of the cruise when it's raining outside or something, everyone will probably be in the laundry. But if you pick your times, you can normally use them quite well. There's dryers there as well. There's irons, so you can iron a lot of things. I know, again, taking a lot of linen and cotton things, more things might need ironing or steaming, but you have got the facilities there. And I think it's just the trend towards more natural fabrics has really taken hold. And so we're not wearing as many of those old polyester stretch sort of materials and things, which were good because they didn't crease, but not as breathable and not as good for the environment. So, but there are laundry facilities. We always actually take some washing tablets and some tumble dryer sheets that we put in, so then we don't have to worry about buying that and we can just go straight to the laundry and do our stuff. That's a useful tip I've learned over the past 10 years of cruising. Then cover-ups. So obviously for evening occasions, I'm going to be taking my white crochet top. I'm probably also going to take a little black cardigan, a little cropped cardigan that I wear as well, which goes over the things that don't work so well with the white, and then I'm covered. Back to daytime now, I do actually always have a hoodie and I probably will wear a denim jacket. Now, again, it depends where you're going, but if you're going from Southampton, it can actually be quite chilly. When you're going down the side of France and Spain, there can be some sort of cloudy weather, maybe some even rainy weather. So having a jacket or something to put on is very useful. I mean, normally in the Med, you're not going to get rain, but we never know nowadays with climate change, do we? So definitely have some sort of jacket, a light jacket that you can wear, and maybe a hoodie so that you're sort of covered for those colder occasions. And sometimes even just in the evening, as I said, going out and walking around the ship when it's later at night can be quite chilly. So you do need those cover-ups, even though you're going on a Mediterranean cruise, and particularly if you're going from somewhere like Southampton. And then let's talk about accessories now. So I would say if you're going to be going and doing any amount of walking, probably trainers are a really good idea. I normally actually wear those when I get on the ship because then they don't take up a lot of space in your suitcase. If you don't like trainers, it could be something like some deck shoes. Alternatively, this year I may decide to take my little Mary Janes that I've got. These are Clark's ones and they're really comfortable, but you need a good pair of walking shoes basically because you will be walking at some point if you get off the boat and you go around town. And even on the boat, you can actually clock up quite a few steps daily. So if you want to do a nice walk round the boat in the morning, for example, sorry, I keep saying boat and I know you're not supposed to say boat, it's a ship. But yeah, useful to have a good pair of shoes that you can walk in, that don't give you blisters. Then you need some summer sandals as well. So I'll show you the ones I'm going to be taking. So I've got this pair here of slider type sandals. I know a lot of people have that type. Mine aren't that comfortable to walk in though, and actually I find it easier to walk in these strappy ones. Sorry, let me show you properly. These were M&S ones for last year, and I've got some brown ones and these are the gold ones. These are useful because they double up for use in the evening. So I never take a lot of heels on cruises. I tend to wear these flat shoes. I'll show you in a second the sort of highest I go with heels. That's a personal choice again, but you really don't need to have high heels. You might want to take a pair if you really like your heels for those celebration nights, but I'm more likely to be wearing these two things. So I may well take a little pair of kitten heels. Now, these are black, which might seem a bit strange, but I have got a lot of black and white sort of outfits, as I've shown you. So I think they might be quite useful and will look nice with the red dress and things like that as well. And I probably will take this little pair of gold shoes. They're again a little kitten heel. They were from Clarks as well, so they're really comfortable to wear. But I wouldn't go any higher than that heel there. That's about as high as I would want to go. And bags wise, I would definitely choose something like some sort of raffia hold all type bag. You may prefer a backpack to that if you like to wear those, but that will be useful for when you go on your day trips and things. So I would definitely take something like that. You can use that as the bag as you get on the ship. It's a good bag to use for that day, and then you can use it. Otherwise, you can find a bag that's more collapsible, a bigger bag that will fit in the case, and then you can take a different handbag. So I probably will take a couple of other smaller bags as well. Let me show you. So I probably will take my June bag purely because it's a neutral colour and therefore will go with everything. And I also like to take something like a little gold clutch, something like that, which again could go with those gold sandals, either the flat ones or the ones with a little heel. So that will probably see me through most occasions. May decide finally to take a little black bag as well with me, maybe a little one with sequins or something like that, just for those special occasions, but I won't take more than that. Now, as I said, I won't take all those things. I will sort of decide which is the most suitable in terms of walking shoes, nice pair or two of shoes for daytime sandals, and then at least one nice pair, probably two nicer pairs that I can use in the evening. Although, as I said, if you get some gold flat sandals, they sort of double up for lots of rolls. So that's a really good tip. And obviously you may well need some flip-flops. These are the Havaiana ones that are very popular. And obviously your sunglasses. Now I will take at least two pairs of sunglasses because I want to make sure. I'll probably take a black and a brown pair so that they sort of go with everything. And if I lose a pair, then it's not the end of the world, but that's some essentials as well. You may also want to take, for the opposite type of weather, something like an umbrella. Now I know that sounds a bit strange on a Mediterranean cruise, but if you get a rainy day and you're on a trip or something, you could be walking around a city in the rain. Possibly an umbrella or even a very light, Kugel type rain mac or whatever might be useful if you are worried about that. And one thing to say, if you're going to any European cities, places like Barcelona, there are a lot of pickpockets around tourists. So if you're going on a trip or something, be very careful with your valuables. I wouldn't have them in an open basket bag or something. I would have those secured in, a crossbody bag right next to me or that type of thing. You do just need to be aware that some of those pickpocketing groups do target tourists. So make sure you keep your valuables safe. So let's take a look at the list of what we're going to be packing. This is, as I said, what's suitable for me. Obviously it may vary for you because you have slightly different style or different requirements. You may be doing a more active holiday. For example, I didn't mention gym wear. That's something that a lot of people might like to take. Again, you've got your trainers already, you've got your t-shirts, maybe just a little pair of gym leggings. That's something some people could add. But let's have a look at the general list then. So first of all, we've got at least 2 swimming costumes or bikinis, potentially 3 or more if you're going for longer. Then we've got the cover-ups, so maybe 2 cover-ups for your swimming costume. Then we've got the casual day outfits, so maybe a cord set, very useful, maybe a pair of shorts of some sort, denim shorts maybe, and then a couple of day dresses, some nice cotton linen-y summer dresses, a couple of linen shirts, very, very useful, and obviously a couple of little vest tops or t-shirts or something to go with some of those bottoms there. Then we've got the more evening wear. So some of those summer dresses will be fine for the evening as well, but you might like to add in a couple of more colourful, brighter sort of summer dresses that are a little bit more elevated, possibly maxi dresses, something like that. And at least 1 or 2 sort of more formal wear occasion pieces. So like my long black maxi dress or my red fitted Hobbs dress, something like that for those celebration nights. Then on to accessories. So we're definitely needing a good pair of shoes that we can walk in comfortably. And then some summer sandals of some sort. that are, you know, reasonably walkable in, but maybe a little bit more strappy. We need some flip-flops possibly, or those strappy sandals for the poolside. And then we need some sandals or shoes to wear in the evening. Possibly, from my point of view, I would probably say just a lower heeled, nice pair of gold or silver shoes, something like that, and maybe some gold sandals. Something like that will go with lots of different things is a good idea. So maybe keep your accessories fairly neutral. And then jewellery wise, I haven't mentioned that yet. I think it's always nice to take some gold jewellery or gold coloured jewellery. You can get the gold plated jewellery that's supposed to be water resistant as well if you're worried about wearing it around the pool. But you can see I got these gold hoops. I actually got those from TK Maxx, and I think they're from a brand that's waterproof. And some of you will have seen I got my Missoma necklace. I'm not sure that that is waterproof, so I might not be wearing that in the pool, but it'd be a nice necklace to go with a lot of those evening items. So just some nice sort of bold statement, maybe jewellery, maybe some gold jewellery would be really good and will go with everything. So let me know what I've missed out. Are there any other essentials that you need to take? Probably I have missed something out, so please let me know in the comments. And let me know as well if you've got any cruises planned and any other things that you're going to take as an essential. Hope you've enjoyed the video, really enjoyed making it, and it's made my packing a lot easier. Actually having a rail like this and getting everything out and looking at what you've got makes it easier then, and then you've just got a few decisions. For example, I probably won't take all those dresses, I'll sort of pare it down a little bit, but you certainly don't need to do what I heard one woman did, which was when they'd booked a 14-night cruise, she went out and bought 14 new dresses. You definitely don't need to have a different dress for every night of the cruise. If you're going on a 2-week cruise, I tend to plan a 2-week sort of schedule of outfits, a week, and then I repeat it on the second week. So I just plan for sort of 7 days. And regarding things like underwear and that, I only take probably 8 days worth because I know I'm going to do a wash halfway through. So you don't need to have a different outfit every day on the boat. You don't need 14 dresses. You can mix and match as well. Obviously, if you've got separates, you can create lots of outfits with that. If I was going for a lot shorter length of time and it was a really short cruise, then I may well sort of do more of a capsule wardrobe. But as I said, you've got plenty of leeway because of the luggage allowance, particularly if you're going from a port. So enjoy. So if you are going on a cruise, I hope you really enjoy it. I will be away later in the month for a couple of weeks, but I've got a little bit more time to prepare myself and do my packing. So thank you so much for watching. Hope you have a good week, and I look forward to seeing you next week. Goodbye.